where I've mentioned how each tile, if you look at it above like it's a board game, which it isn't, but it's an analogy that kind of works. Each tile that you would go into has billions and billions of things that it could be, and all these things exist, but each observer can only see, one at a time. And unless you're from an area that's it's worn in, you're going to go into someplace random in each area you go into. But intelligence and just use grinds in stuff, but that's not for everything and everyone. If you come from an area that's attuned in that area, every time you come to that tile, your playlist that gets put on shuffle consists of that one tile, your city, your land, where you come from, and it gets put on shuffle. But one title on shuffle, you're there. That's the state of the outside where we are. When you go into the razor's edge, that's all attuned from all the travel. You go from here to there, that's where you go. That's where the door is. But then you go inside from there, there's Apple Rock and such. There are billions upon billions of plates, but if you're a human being coming from inside or outside here to there, you will go to the crossroads, and then there's the Crimson Kingdom, because it's been ground in. You are attuned to out here, which is attuned to the razor's edge, and that's all attuned to that place that's outside. If you can break that connection, travel far enough, it'll zero out this area that shows who and what you're connected to, and then you walk back into that same area, like the same Apple Rock area, but with no connection to your old place. You could enter any one of the tiles that are still there. There are many cities in that area not connected to the outside, and so they're not attuned to Apple Rock. They're from those people that are, since there's more there on the inside than there is on the outside, there are places that all those tiles, they get attuned to their area. So when they leave, they always come back to this. Their playlist is limited to this. Whereas up here, our playlist is limited to this. Same place, but the observers can only observe one at a time. And wherever you're attuned to, that's what you get. So thumbs up on that. And of course, I was thinking more and more. I've been thinking a lot. There's a lot of stuff I thought about with the King in Crimson. And I've got a bigger overarching idea of the full story, full earth. There's always going to be more until I actually get it done, of what's happening for this book idea I've got with all the short stories, the slices of life. Because it happens within a year of life on the razor's edge, starting with the first couple months of the book. Things are just getting tense on the razor's edge. It's been tense, it's getting worse. The pressure is ratcheting. Nobody knows what's happening. And then the Apple Rock Kaiju goes and rampages and eats, and just, it's awful. Then until you hit about the net 50% of the book, everything deals with the ramifications and after effects of the rampage. But it's a slice of life, and life does go on. So about the 2/3 point, a lot of the stuff, there's about half of it happening with ramifications of Apple Rock, but also things are continuing to happen. They're dealing with, and the King in Crimson is sending a team down into the southern exit off of the crossroads. That does not end well. That happens at about the 2/3 mark. And then toward the end, when it all wraps up, it's, the rampage was bad. That was a year ago. And people are rebuilding, and people are continuing to live, and things are happening, and life goes on. And I figure as well, what would happen toward the end is something along the lines of one of the people from the Crimson Kingdom is talking to the mayor, just saying, we have stopped our investigations into what and why. Everything goes back so far, and it's all connected, and it all leads up to things like this. We've already gone back 200 years through records and things, and everything that you could say actually points to actions, possibly from the Apple Rock Kaiju. But if it's that powerful, what can you do? After all, even the King in Crimson put in the plans to put a repeater booster tower into Apple Rock, and as it turns out, that was right where the gas lines that were put in by another person who was affected by the kaiju had the gas lines so that it would blow up and destroy the repeater booster, because everything, all communications had become routed through it. So it just crippled the whole place by that thing being there. So the Apple Rock Kaiju is even influencing places like the Crimson Kingdom and the King in Crimson. Are they affecting the Pale Kingdom? What is the reach? What is the extent? Eventually you have to say, it doesn't matter. Live your life. If you try to base your life on, if I do this, will people get killed in the future? Or if I don't do this, will people get killed in the future? It will drive you mad. If this thing has this much control, all you can do is live your life and try to be a good person. All of these people are continuing to build up everything that they have thought of. They're still rebuilding the town. But even the things that are supposed to be anti-kaiju measures, how do they know that they're not just another thing that in 100 years is being set up for the next rampage? You can't. Live your life. Do the best you can. And that's going to be sort of the general message of the book and all of the stories. So I don't know exactly how to get where I'm going, because if I have everything set up all together and there's nothing to discover as I go, then I find there's no reason to even write it. It's boring. I like to discover things as I write. So no, I don't know everything. I don't know all the things that are happening. I'm just still discovering what's and whys and wherefores. So